Is that going to play too?
Yeah.
Welcome back, friends and scoundrels. I have to do another voiceover one because we recorded this as a traditional as we record things video, and the audio was garbage. So, um, we are doing a review of the new Essentials kit from Wizards of the Coast, and yeah. So I guess we'll kind of talk about it a little bit and what comes in it as the video plays. So we got a little box, carry all the cards in, because it comes with quite a few cards, as you'll see later. A pretty decent set of polyhedrals.
Assuming you like red.
Whatever.
Whatever.
You get two d20s for rolling your advantage or disadvantage. And then a 12. So pretty much it's going to come with your basic set instead of just calling all the dice out as they play. You get your basic set of 7 polyhedrals, and then you get an extra d20 and 3 extra d6s, which is kind of nice. I forget, the original starter kit came with a normal set of 7 dice, which is fine, but this is just a little bit more useful for right out of the gate playing.
Yeah, for when you have to put one of your 20s in jail.
That too. But again, not bad. I don't know who's making the dice for him, so I can't comment on that. Then you've got your Essentials Kit rules book, which is pretty much your SRD. So you could go download that for free. The only thing that this adds new are the sidekick rules, which is kind of a fun, interesting new thing, especially if you're running like a low count party. But again, it's essentially your SRD, and we'll talk about the rule book here in a bit. We'll talk about the new rules though, I guess. You don't really show the sidekick cards much, do you?
No, I show the front and the back of them.
So your sidekick rules go up to level 6. They level up as the player levels up, and they get their own real basic stat block. And it's kind of like having an official rule for bringing along an NPC. But you've got 3 basic NPC classes, I guess. There's like a warrior, the entertainer, something, the expert, and the spellcaster. So it's just a fun little thing. I said you get stat block. There's your level charts. Again, it only goes up to level 6 because that's all the further this goes, because they want you to get interested and buy it later, which is fine, I guess. Like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit later with the things that I liked and didn't like. DM screen, which is a neat addition. Not something you got in the starter kit, mind you. Other than the artwork and the information provided on it, it's not exactly the bestest thing. But for starting out DM, that's going to need all their basic rules for them. It's got all that on there for you, your conditions, ranges, or your actions. What else you got? A few things to help you just throw something together real quick if you need to.
The artwork is nice, though. I like the artwork.
The artwork is nice.
But it's just flimsy, bendy.
Then we're getting into the cards. So you got a set of 9 initiative cards, which isn't bad for your players, but if you get anything more than 3 or 4 monsters, you might be in a little bit of trouble. So it almost kind of makes them not very useful.
It's useful to start.
Kind of. There's a few encounters in the adventure that go over that, so it very quickly becomes useless. You've got your condition cards, which are helpful to hand out to the players if you don't want to hand them the rules book, which has those on the back of it.
Yeah, you're never going to be at a loss for where the conditions are because there's the cards, it's on the back of the rule book, it's on the DM screen.
They want you to know what the conditions are. Apparently, that's a big thing in this game. Which it is, and it's something that we're constantly asking about. What does this do? What does that do?
This is true. I do reference my condition cheat sheet all the time because we always forget.
Well, and there's some of them that are similar enough that
what's the difference
they're easy to
between
confuse.
Restrained and grappled and
yeah. This down here at the bottom is another thing I thought was pretty cool. Just I think it's there mostly to take up space, but the combat rules.
Yeah.
We might be able to make use of that later on at the next minicon. Which we're recording this after our recent minicon, the High Plains minicon. Not that many of you people care out there because you don't live around here. These are your sidekick cards. So, if you play minis, you'll probably have to get minis to stand in for them. But not bad. They've got basic information on the back. What their background information is, pretty much. So that way you kind of know how to play them.
And it tells you which stat block to use.
Yeah, and it tells you which stat block to use. And your magic item cards, which is the largest number of cards and probably the most useful.
Yeah, there were 4 sheets of these magic item cards.
4 sheets. I think there's 6 basic health potions, 1 or 2 better health potions, and nothing really above a +1 weapon in any shape or form. There's a couple that stand out. I think there's is there Dragon Slayer? I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
I didn't really look at them, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't look that deep at them.
At the magic items.
But there's some good stuff in there, basic stuff. And your quest cards, which is one of the other more exciting things about this. These come into play during the adventure. You're kind of looking at your town board, and 3 of these are posted, and the players pick a couple and work those, and then milestone. This is another thing I was really excited about, was the map here for Phandelver and the Sword Coast. Did you show the other side? Or are you getting to it?
I'm getting to it.
You getting to it? Yeah, this is something, just because this is kind of where my game's taking place right now, would be nice to have. Because I'm always trying to pull out my cheap, crappy print-off one, and
yeah,
those are nice for the DM to have for notes, but this is pretty nice for the players to have to see.
It is a nice reference for when we're in town and doing the theater of the mind part.
Or, travel or whatever.
Yeah.
Wanting to know where you need to go. And the pièce de résistance. The adventure book. So like I said, your adventure cards play into this, and one of the things that they did that I think actually makes this a lot better is that you start off in Phandelver, you have 3 low-level adventures, 3, for the setting, mid-level, and then 3 higher level, and then you deal with the overall threat, as opposed to like how Phandelver and a lot of the earlier adventures are. I think they're going more to this format. You have your adventure hook, kind of, and then it sandboxes a little bit to get you, so that way you can essentially XP farm, and then you go back into the adventure. And like most of your side quests from town or whatever don't have a whole lot to do at all with the overall adventure. So for me, it really, especially if it's something where, like Storm King's Thunder, I feel like there should be a sense of urgency there. And it really, for me, that style of setup feels like it would be very disruptive to that sense of urgency. Same thing with Phandelver, kind of. You don't have as much sense of urgency to it, or the Lost Mine of Phandelver. But it's the same thing. It gives you kind of an adventure hook, and then you go to town, go back and take care of a couple things. Then you sandbox to XP farm, and then you come back to the adventure and finish it off. So it's one of the things I definitely really liked. As far as the box as a whole, like I said, it's definitely a step up from the starter box, which retails generally for about $19.95, so about $20. That came with, again, the SRD, your adventure, some dice, and some pre-generated characters. Whereas this retails for $24.95 or $25 if you just want to make it easy. And like the value's definitely probably tripled, especially the fact that, and I'd really like to see them continue to do this going forward, you get a promotion code for half off the player's handbook on D&D Beyond, which would be useful for just about anybody. But it gives you a way cheaper option to get the full rule set, so that way you can start playing beyond that adventure a little bit.
Yeah, I really like the quest cards. I mean, since most of this stuff, or a lot of it is set in the Sword Coast, I'd like to see, like, if you could buy just a deck of Sword Coast quest cards that you can have.
That would be kind of neat.
You know, because they are pinned up on the Adventures Wanted bulletin boards just for things to throw in.
Yeah. You know, like, that would have been a really nice thing with the Sword Coast Adventures guide. Just, here's a bunch of random encounter things that you could throw in. There's a lot of people who've done that on their own. It'd kind of be nice for Wizards to take the initiative and do that on their own. But Nerdarchy is closing up their Kickstarter for Out of the Box Encounters, their book. And it's just a book of just random stuff that you can just throw into your game if you need to. Or, you know, build a game off of or whatever. What else did we like? I said I like the build of the adventure. I like the setup of it, but there are a couple things that bothered me with it. One of the things, you've got 9 quest cards and then your main purpose, which kind of ties into this next part a little bit, but there are 14 maps total and only 9 quests. So you've got 5 of these maps that the book, or like nothing in the box itself, gives a new DM any idea of what to do with it. It's just kind of random stuff there. And that comes into the rules book a little bit too. I think that it'd be better to have more of like a DM's guide in there instead of another rules book.
Yeah, because if you've got the starter kit and now you've got the same rulebook twice, especially if you've also got the player's handbook.
Yeah, you just have a little bit better looking one if you're coming from the starter's kit. I think with it being the essentials kit, that to me a little bit implies that it's an add-on to the starter kit instead of being a separate starter kit, like a starter kit 2.0, if you will. So just there's some missed opportunity there, really, to give a bludgeon or an up-and-coming DM the tools that they need to start taking it to the next level, to get them interested in getting the DMG and the player's handbook and the monster manual and, you know, the things that this is intended to do from a business standpoint, the marketing side of it, if you will. And, you know, I forgot where I was going to go with that. But not to harp on that too much, it just, that was really the only downside I had from the adventure itself. The rules book, again, I think it would have been better to market this as a starter kit add-on and give the DM more tools. And for the players, it's a little bit hard to justify them buying the starter kit themselves, just because there's a lot of stuff that comes in it that you don't really need. Like, you don't need all 5 characters, but having a bunch of blank sheets like this one came with would be nice, because there is basic character creation there.
Yeah.
The adventure, which you can get that on D&D Beyond for $15, so that's not too bad. What else?
That's it. I've said all I've got to say.
But the rulebook itself, it seems a little repetitive, and it'd be nice, like, we really bought it so we could get a Dragon of Icespire Peak, but since we're doing that, we thought we'd take advantage of it and do a review too, for something to put out there that's a little bit different. And to hit some points that I don't think a lot of people are probably hitting on either. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of other things you can do with the book, like put in a basic monster manual. Again, something to take your game to the next level without getting fully invested.
Well, I said you could even add new stuff to it, like with some of the adventures and stuff, they add new spells or things, just 1 or 2 new things other than just the sidekicks.
Yeah. You could do that. You could do an encounter book with it as part of the adventure. Do a little bit of lore building with the Sword Coast or whatever.
A nice trap section, a bigger trap section. I know lots of DMs have trouble with the traps.
Yeah, I do.
I know.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of things you could do. Again, not just the DM's guide, because I don't think the DM's guide really does a very good job. I mean, hard for me to say, because I crack it open every now and again, but I don't actually use it for anything. I just kind of do whatever I want. But a DM's guide, basic one, that's going to, again, give you that new DM the tools to continue the game, ways to use the expanded adventures, how you can add to an encounter to make it more, and again, a little bit expanded monster manual in there wouldn't be bad, just that way you have some other monsters to throw into these places if you want to keep going after the main adventure. Oh, what else was there? Yeah, I guess that's it. Nothing else is coming to mind as far as what I really wanted to talk about, or at least what I thought I wanted to talk about. So like, comment, subscribe, tell us what you think, tell us if you agree with us or not on any of these points.
Roll.
Turn on notifications and stuff. I forget all the things.
And roll to live.
Roll to live. Live to roll.